Hi everyone, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel. I have Justin Woodward with me, who's the co-founder of TaxBit. Justin is also a tax attorney, and we're going to talk about doing your taxes around cryptocurrency as tax season is upon us. Justin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I've been looking forward to jump on your show and making crypto taxes as easy as possible on your users and sharing some helpful tips that we have.
For sure, and I'm excited to learn from you, given your experience and the great things you guys are doing at TaxBit. Let's start with your background, where you're from, and how did you end up co-founding TaxBit?
Yeah, I've been involved in kind of cryptocurrency tax since kind of the early days. I had a client, as a large Fortune 500 client that wanted to accept cryptocurrency in exchange for goods and services on their platform. This was back in early 2014, 2015. And so at the time, crypto was relatively new to me, and I was diving into all these regulations. But over the years, I've become more and more involved with it, had more and more clients dabbling in it. And me personally, I also began trading it, and I realized the major complexities involved in crypto being taxed as a capital asset, and trying to accurately automate the problem was necessary. So yeah, we started TaxBit in 2017. I've been growing exponentially since, and kind of we took a problem that prior, it took me weeks to try to manually do all of this in Excel and try to figure all this out. And I was a tax attorney, and so I realized, software is pivotal to just making this as easy as an experience as possible. So, traders can keep doing what they love and don't need to be experts in every area of this realm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be very daunting. And even myself, right? I understand crypto, but then it comes to taxes. I'm like, oh gosh, it's that time of the year. And I made some trades last year. So I'm going to have to talk to my accountant and get all these things in order, and certainly be using your service. So tell us about TaxBit and how it works. For someone who's like in layman's terms, how does the software and everything plug into different crypto exchanges?
Yeah, so essentially, TaxBit is a platform. So we have multiple market segments that we work on. So we do, everyday individual consumer taxes, which is probably the most relevant to your users. We also do, taxes on the behalf of platforms like exchanges, helping them automate their own books, as well as a few other different product offerings. But as far as your everyday consumers, every time you buy cryptocurrency, you're setting your cost basis, and every time you sell or trade cryptocurrency, there's a disposition event. And there are all sorts of other taxable events in crypto, but our goal at TaxBit is making this as simple as possible, where you can go create an account, link your relevant exchanges, and then we do the rest. So essentially aggregate all the data together, normalize all the data, run the data through the proper accounting rules and engines, and then create your output, your tax forms, which and also save an immutable record of those forms and how those calculations were performed in the event there's ever an IRS audit or a question about the returns. We can show you how everything was produced, and so that users can just continue what they like to do.
Sure. So last year, as an example, I did transactions bought and sold on Coinbase, Binance US, and Uphold. For me, I would just do the syncs or whatever it is, sync the accounts accordingly, and TaxBit pulls in the data and starts calculating the information for you.
Yeah, so it only just takes a few minutes. Connect exchanges, links to all through read-only APIs. It's just transactional history information, and then also it keeps live feeds. So every time you trade, your account will live update. You can monitor, all your trading information, account balances all in one place, and then my favorite piece is a lot of people view cryptocurrency taxes as kind of this thing you do at the end of the year. Oh no, it's March, it's time to file. But what's so great about what TaxBit provides is tax optimization opportunities. You can see, because of these live feeds of data, you can see what your tax consequences would be throughout the year as you trade. So you can make informed decisions about, hey, what your gains or losses are going to be. And ultimately, if you have assets that are in capital loss positions, we provide, the tools to alert you of that. And so you can go make trades and capture capital losses. And our goal ultimately is at the end of the year, if you do proper tax planning, you should ultimately get a tax refund back, or at least if you do trigger taxable gains, you did that intentionally because you knew the impacts of your trades before you actually made them, which I think is pivotal. You don't want to find out at the very end of the year for the first time what you might owe in taxes.
I love it. I am one that's a missing part of my personal crypto trading strategy. I've been at my own embarrassment, I've not been doing it, but that is awesome to be able to track that throughout your lifetime of trading and throughout the year, and that makes complete sense. And I think I definitely want to have that in place this year, but that's awesome. Now I'm assuming, based on the information I put into your system, based on my state and or city or whatever it may be, it'll pull the respective capital gains taxes, and if I owe like city and state and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. We'll pull in, your user information and then give you what your estimated tax liability will be depending on your demographic information, whether, you're single, married, filing jointly, whatever the situation may be. And then after all the data is aggregated, very quick process, pulls right in. You can download your tax forms. So those tax forms can very easy, just uploads right into TurboTax. You can hand them over to your accountant. They plug right into your tax return. It should be no additional work that they need to complete.
Got it. So, for example, myself, I have an accountant I work with who has no idea about cryptocurrency as yet. She's great, but she doesn't have any idea about crypto yet. So I could just, like you said, do the respective calculations in TaxBit, print it out, take it to her and be like, hey, here's my cryptocurrency trading and all that stuff. Can you submit it with the rest of my tax returns?
Exactly. Hey, this tax form was produced by TaxBit. They did all the crypto portion of my tax return. Hey, please just plug it in. You don't need to be an expert in this area. You can stick with your legacy accountant. They know how to report this form. It's essentially, just putting it on the box with the rest of your return and submitting it, similar to how you would handle your stocks and equity tax forms.
Got it. That makes it so easy. So I want to ask about what's going to be on everyone's mind is security and the accuracy. What are you guys doing from those two fronts?
I appreciate the question. So security is absolutely pivotal to us. We'll start with that prong. So we have the security team at TaxBit that focuses on this area. So first of all, we only use read-only information. So TaxBit will never have custody of funds, never access to trading histories. So nothing to lose on that side. But we still take great steps to take care of the transactional information that we collect and make sure. So TaxBit is fully SOC 2 Type 2 certified. So all of our practices have been independently audited by large accounting firms to make sure everything is in accordance on that side. And then the second piece you mentioned, accuracy. There is not a more important piece to this puzzle than accuracy in my lens, coming as a tax attorney. So we actually have a large team of subject matter experts. TaxBit has, teams of CPAs, attorneys that specializes in this area, work with government regulators, and we're really plugged into all the areas of the software. And so we know that the information that's going in and the outputs that are being put out are correct and accurate, and we're happy to put our name behind that.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And I notice you guys have some pretty big investors like Winklevoss Twins, or Winklevoss Capital, I should say, PayPal, and Coinbase Ventures.
Yeah, we have a large team of strategic investors, and ultimately we provide a lot of these services for exchanges themselves as well as their end users. So our team of strategic investors, they use our products, they believe in us, and so we value working with them.
Awesome. And just recently, I read that you guys had partnered with Uphold. Can you tell us about that partnership?
Yeah, we've kind of been long-time partners with Uphold, so we've been serving their users for a little over 2 years or so, and so we make the process as easily as possible. So users on Uphold's platform can go straight into their account. They can download their 1099-Bs, which will itemize all their trade information just right from Uphold's platform. And then if they traded on other platforms other than Uphold, they can create a TaxBit account and we'll aggregate everything together and reconcile out to any tax forms that exchanges have issued.
Sure. And also, I know it's like a lot of news around updates, but I saw you guys raised $5 million. Congratulations. Can you tell us about that and who were the participants, if possible?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that raise was that's now been a little over, looks like a little over a year at this point. So I
Okay.
mean,
I
so since
follow.
that, yeah, so we've grown a lot since that time. So we've used those funds to really scale our team. And we have a large team of software developers, support agents, hands-on, helping all our users, as well as our subject matter experts. So and also, yeah, since that time we've also raised significant more funding. So we've just continued to scale and press forward and ultimately make the experience as easy on end users as possible. So we even work with the exchanges to put tools in their platforms to automate tax reports right from the exchanges platform. So ultimately, the goal would be at one point you wouldn't have to go to TaxBit because we automate everything at the exchange level. But in the meantime, with how many sources there are trading on our consumer products, get a lot of users, and you can have a lot of tax optimization tools right from your TaxBit account.
Sure, and it's awesome that you guys service both consumers and enterprises. And you mentioned crypto exchanges use your platform. Any other folks that you can give us insight into? Folks are generally interested as to what the institutional investors are doing and enterprises and so forth. But what type of demand are you seeing on the enterprise side?
Yeah, there's big pushes right now for more accurate 1099 reporting.
Hmm.
So historically, exchanges many have either issued nothing at all for their users, kind of just leaving them in the dark. Hey, go figure this out on your own with a company like TaxBit, or they issued the incorrect tax forms. So we've seen a lot of incorrect audits from 1099Ks, for example. They report, grossly inflated income. So we get, if you are in this position or any of your users are in this position where you've gotten, a scary letter from the IRS, we do have, a 100% resolution rate. You come to us in time. Most of the time, these letters are inflated, and we can save you a lot of money on that front. So if there ever is any IRS correspondence or anything on that side, we'd love to resolve that for you. We know that can be a scary thing to get an audit letter from the IRS.
Sure. So I do want to talk about the IRS and crypto taxes in general in the United States. What are you guys seeing? And it sounds like you guys have engaged with maybe the IRS or the regulators to a certain degree. Is it? We've heard news like, okay, they're looking to come after crypto. We know there's capital gains taxes, but what are you guys seeing as far as trends and in trying to work out also maybe proper crypto tax rates and regulations?
Yeah, no, the IRS has been great at, answering questions to the industry and staying involved. I think ultimately the efforts we're seeing for the IRS are one, mismatches with 1099s and exchange issues, the wrong 1099 that leads in a cryptocurrency audit, or just general audits from just non-compliance. So typically, when people don't file at all, and the IRS finds record that you did trade on an exchange, or there's that question now, and every taxpayer has to answer: did you trade virtual currency throughout the year? If you answer yes to that, or answer no when it turns out to be yes and didn't file a crypto return, that can also lead to an audit. So I think ultimately the big keys here are there are clear rules on how crypto is taxed, and you definitely need to file, or else you'll be on kind of the high target list for the IRS.
Sure, and you definitely don't want to be on that list.
Yeah, but ultimately the goal is too, though, is if you think about it ahead of time, a lot of times when people don't think of taxes at all,
Sure.
like right now, crypto's just gone up crazy in value. Bitcoin's almost at $50,000. And people just continually trade and trigger lots of capital gain events without thinking about it. And that can lead to, taxes that could have otherwise been delayed or or not harvested. So I think the biggest tip that I would have is plan beforehand. Don't think of taxes. I know we are getting close to the tax deadline coming up in this season, but it's never too late to also plan for the next tax year. Use those tax optimization tools to see when you're in gain positions and when you're in loss positions. And if you have large losses in assets, claim them. It will save you money on your tax returns. So.
That's a great tip. Yeah, because I think most folks just think about the gains, but the losses, you can use that to your advantage to not, maybe reduce your tax exposure or whatever it may be.
Yeah, the goal is ultimately to get a tax refund back. Right? So if you have capital losses, there's deductions available to claim those losses to actually get money back from the IRS. People a lot of times don't think of it in those terms, but the IRS through the tax code provides benefits to if you have capital losses during the year. There are certain ways to minimize your taxes with those. So it's definitely smart to claim them throughout the year.
Sure. And I think to your point, with your service, as you mentioned earlier, you can track this throughout the year and it pulls in, all your trades and all of that. So it's good to start paying attention to that and planning ahead. So that service where it's continually tracking all your trades throughout the year, it makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely going to use that this year because I'm sure a lot of folks are looking to plan cash out given the high prices and the market rallying up. So
there's just so much opportunity with cryptocurrency. I mean, people trade it. People trade stocks and equities, buying and selling, day traders, but the level of contact that people have with cryptocurrency and how often they use it and trade it and switch between cryptocurrencies, it just makes it where there's so many events that you can optimize taxes through because of how often we're dealing with this, how often crypto fluctuates in value. Stocks aren't, you don't have the same level of dips. Crypto can go, dip 10% in one day and immediately go right back up. But if you sell at those low points, when you hit those dips, you can just you can maximize your losses, which will ultimately, benefit you in the long term.
Absolutely. Justin, so I have to ask, what are you holding in your crypto portfolio?
It's a good question. I've been a little spurred around a few, so definitely a big believer in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's obvious, but I think Ethereum, you get a lot of exposure to even other cryptocurrencies that are, built on the Ethereum blockchain. So I think that's a safer bet that keeps on going. But then, and then just dabbling in the alts like everybody. So the new flavor of the day is, sometimes I pick the right one, sometimes I don't. But I always tax plan, so there's that benefit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I want to wrap it up here with some quick rapid fire questions about yourself. For example, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food is crab.
Nice. Favorite musician or band?
Ooh, oh man, that's a good one. I like everything. So I like 70s, 90s. I like the new stuff. I like DJs. Yeah, I'm not picky there.
Cool. What's your favorite movie?
Um, I should have a better answer to that. Sorry, nothing on the top of my head.
When you're not working at TaxBit or crypto trading, what are you doing for fun as a hobby?
uh, Outdoors. So love snowboarding, hitting the mountain, um, dirt biking, the other fun outdoor events.
Awesome. Well, Justin, really great chatting with you. Everyone, if you want to leverage TaxBit's service, a link will be in the description. And Justin, I love the service. I love the growth that you guys are seeing, and certainly looking forward to maybe speaking with you again in the future as things progress.
Yeah, I love the channel, Tony. Your content's been amazing, so we'll keep on listening. And if any of your users need help, please come over. We have a large support team. Come chat into us. We'll take good care of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin.
All right, have a good one, Tony. Thank you.